Come, ye thankful people, come. Here we are, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. We are a church which is nonpartisan, sometimes called the Episcopal Church, the Republican Party of Prayer. I do not want to think of the Unitarian Universalist Church as any party affiliation. And that would be deeply offensive to our historical traditions, because we are a collection of heretics. There is no orthodoxy here. I'm going to be speaking to the grieving people among us who, by and large, are grieving because their values align with a candidate who lost. But I want to know that everyone who voted in any way, their conscience, is a member of this church in good standing, is as welcome here as anyone else. If we embrace diversity in any respect, we embrace diversity in politics as well. For some of us, therefore, the news could not be worse. The new administration is showing through its early appointments that it intends to enact into policy some of the most regressive positions that we have seen in, we were hoping, was just campaign rhetoric. We are a community grounded in love, and we try to live by love. We're about to sit down to our annual ritual meal and give thanks, but to whom or for what has never been further obscured. And we won't even be able to agree with Uncle Bill on which fork to use, much less the direction the country should be going. The divide in our politics mirrors a yawning chasm in our culture and worldview. And so we come into church hoping the minister can help us sort out these extreme contradictions, or at least give us something to be thankful for. At a time like this, a minister might wish he had chosen a less risky profession like tightrope walking or skydiving. I attended a peace vigil in Orleans on Saturday. I saw a few of you there and brought my banjo so that we could sing a few songs. I soon found a partner in the singing, my friend Kathleen Healy. At one point we launched into Woody Guthrie's classic, This Land Is Your Land, and Kathleen taught me a new Native American verse to this song. This land is your land, it once was my land, before we sold you Manhattan Island. You pushed our nations to the reservations, this land was stolen by you from me. This put the problem in a different perspective. Everyone seems to feel that America has been stolen from them. A lot of the post-election analysis focused on working-class whites in the heartland who felt that cosmopolitan elites on both coasts had stolen their country. People on the left who felt that the country under Obama was just beginning to come to grips with racism and myriad other ways in which some people get excluded from we the people, feel that this progress is being taken away. And in the tug of war over whose America has been lost and how it will be taken back, this song reminds us that there's a whole different layer. If you're a Native American, your country was stolen not in your lifetime, but continuously in the last 5 centuries. That struggle continues today. The front cover of the Order of Service is not a turkey. It's a photo taken earlier this month at the protest at the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. I was not able to attend, but my colleague Tom Bozeman, the interim minister at First Parish Brewster, did. Tom tells me it was a transformational experience, standing with 500 clergy of all faiths, including Peter Morales, the president of the EUA, and Native Americans from every tribe and every corner of the nation, as well as indigenous peoples from all over the world. Tom told me that one of the ceremonies that the demonstrators performed was a burning of a document representing the doctrine of discovery. I've preached before on this racist doctrine, A call for repeal of it has been endorsed by the UUA and many other faith organizations. It stems from early in the age of exploration, when a series of decrees from the Pope gave European powers the right, basically to run roughshod over the rights of any indigenous peoples they encountered if the indigenous peoples were not Christians, which of course they weren't. You would think it would have been repealed or rescinded by now, but it hasn't. And it is in the background of struggles like the Standing Rock one. One of my ministry colleagues who was at Standing Rock posted a video of a young Sioux woman describing how she was arrested 2 weeks ago. At the end of describing the arrest, she summed up her feelings about the whole operation. Quote, "It's complete genocide, and I don't even know why it's happening here in 2016. Everybody says we're moving forward. Let's not look back. But how could we not look back when it's still happening, you know?" What I'm suggesting is that everybody is feeling lost, but we're feeling the loss of different things. The most remarkable thing about yesterday's vigil in New Orleans for me was that a woman who said she was of Mexican ancestry came up to me and complained that she and her family were being harassed in Hyannis, where she lived, because they voted for Trump. She definitely felt the loss of the country in which she grew up. Well, let's remind ourselves of where the story of Thanksgiving comes from. It occurred in Plymouth, less than 100 miles from here. We know about it, as I said a minute ago, because of a few sentences in a letter written by a pilgrim named Edward Winslow on December 11, 1621. Out of this history, white America has spun the myth of the first Thanksgiving, the holiday we all grew up celebrating. To many of us, it is dearer than Christmas. Certainly many of us attempt to get our families together for the occasion, with the result that the roads, rails, and the skies, the days around the holiday are the busiest travel days of the year. In 1970, there was a celebration of the 350th anniversary of the landing at Plymouth Rock. And the committee putting together the celebration thought it might be nice to hear from a Native American. So they turned to a man named Frank James of Chatham, who called himself Wamsutta, a Wampanoag title. Frank James was a talented musician, the first Native American graduate of New England Conservatory, but racism kept him from a career in the classical orchestras. He was music director of the Nauset schools for many years, and one of the people who worked under him was our own Frank Coe. So Wamsutta Frank James was asked to speak at the Plymouth 350th celebration, but when he showed them in advance the speech he planned to give, the committee withdrew the invitation. His speech survives and is available on the internet. In it, he asserts basically that Massasoit made a fatal mistake in supporting the Pilgrims because the English settlers were fated to wipe out the Wampanoag way of life. It's hard to argue with that. Wamsutta James was among those who started the modern Indian tradition of a national day of mourning at the holiday white America calls Thanksgiving. It really is appropriate for all of us to mourn because it's the loss of an entire way of life which stretched across the continent. Every year at this time I tell this story. And every year at this time I ask how anyone can be grateful if they are in mourning at the same time. This year, many of us have a sense of loss, which is particularly wide and deep. And for those of us who oppose the regime which won the election, the mourning is accompanied by genuine fear about how much of the progress we have taken for granted is about to be rolled back. Climate change, women's reproductive rights, marriage equality, campaign finance reform, freedoms of speech and of the press, gun control, racism, immigration, free trade, all of the issues which echoed through the long campaign now are on the chopping block. As I said earlier, I try to maintain the meeting house as a nonpartisan place. And we are richer, and our covenant is stronger to the extent we seek and practice political diversity as well as other kinds. But my preaching this morning is directed to those who are most hurting, of whatever political stripe. And my encounter with a Trump supporter yesterday made me realize she is hurting too. But she's hurting in a different place than the Hillary voter. And what I have to say this morning is largely directed at those who are supporting Hillary. I wish I had answers that would comfort both sides. The Lord knows we need some healing. Mr. Trump initially said that he wanted healing in the nation, but now he's going about staffing his administration, the people who are going to shape the direction of the country, with loyalists who are from the extreme right wing. There may be some good things to say about the present time, but you have to start by acknowledging that it looks pretty bad. Not just for white liberals, but for anyone who fits into the category of the other. On the street level, there's a definite uptick in racist incidents, and people of color quite rationally can have a heightened anxiety about that. It is not yet a tidal wave, but it is worrisome. I've been wearing my safety pin. At the same time, I entertain doubts as to whether that does any good, and whether I have the courage to act out of my comfort zone if I encounter others being harassed. I'm more concerned about how we talk to one another across this yawning political divide. Yesterday's conversation brought home how much the political divide is also a worldview divide. For each of us constructs our own reality, which justifies the actions we take. I know that I do. As we gather around the table this Thanksgiving, can we actually come together in thanks? Are we so deeply divided that we can't see any one thing that we're all thankful for? Not if we're only thankful for the things which feel good. This is why I read Susan Hall's essay every year at Thanksgiving. If we would receive the sacred, we must receive the river's flow, even as it injures, even as it takes away. The values I and many of you hold very dear have been injured deeply. People committed to eradicating those values are being elevated to positions of ultimate power in this country. How can any of us be thankful about that? I can't speak for anyone but myself. I can be thankful. That gives me an opportunity to recommit myself to those values by what I do or say in reaction. I've already signed a clergy petition calling on Republican members of Congress to reject the appointments of people with overt racist pasts to positions requiring congressional approval. I've stood out on a street corner among like-minded people, to be sure, which is hardly out of my comfort zone. But I've also engaged a passionate Trump voter, which pushed me to the top of that, out of that zone a little. All of this helps me clarify to myself my relation to my values. But you might ask, what about humility? Does digging in behind what we say our values are keep us from recognizing that we may be wrong? Or seeing the virtue and the point of view of other people? There's a lot of passionate liberal commentary going around on social media to the effect that we can't be asked to be polite or be reasonable anymore, to see things from another point of view when that other is showing all the signs of being serious about repealing the rights we've worked so hard for this last 50 years. My friends, understanding does not mean accommodation. It does not mean laying down and letting people walk all over you. It's simply opening your ears and your mind. Listen, after much thought, I've come to a realization for this time. Resistance is the highest form of love. In resistance, we show not only our commitment to our own values, but our recognition of the humanity of those who disagree with us. Never denigrate your opponents. Their actions have meaning within the set of assumptions which governs their view of the world. Oppose the worldview, keeping always an open mind to the possibility that your own might be wrong. This is a variation on the old Christian maxim, love the sinner, but hate the sin. Yes, we earnestly want peace. We want peace in our country and around the Thanksgiving dinner tables. But there's another value we want more. We want justice. Walter Wink, the Christian theologian, said, neutrality in a situation of oppression always supports the status quo. Reduction of conflict by means of phony Justice is the goal, and that may require an acceleration of conflict as a necessary stage in forcing those in power to bring about genuine change. A lot of ink has already been spilled comparing the incoming regime to that of Nazi Germany. History does not repeat itself exactly, and it remains to be seen how closely this conservative regime will track that one. They may have nothing in common. But we cannot forget that the most advanced nation on earth fell into a killing orgy in which all proportion was lost, all bounds exceeded, and was defeated only by military might, good fortune, and the sweat and sacrifice of millions of soldiers. But as we look back on the Nazi regime, the heroes of that time period are not only the Allied soldiers in uniform, but the ordinary civilians in Germany and France and the occupied territories who did what they could to undermine the regime. Back in September, we remembered Waitsville and Martha Sharp of the Unitarian Church in Wellesley, Massachusetts, who risked their lives trying to get Jews out of Europe in the early 1940s. They were resisting the Nazis as far as they had power to do so. Resistance is the highest form of love, and it may be what can give meaning to our lives. Now, many of us in this congregation are retired. We've come to Cape Cod, a supremely beautiful place to live out our golden years on the golf course, the tennis court, behind an easel, or in a community chorus. I don't know what form resistance may take in your life. You may choose to engage on the golf course with those who think and vote differently. You may express your values in your painting or the choice of music you perform. You may write letters to congresspersons or the editor rather than grab a placard and go down and march on the mall in Washington, D.C. You may do none of these things, but the opportunity is there. The opportunity is the gift we are given. The opportunity to make a difference. Those of us here with children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren would do anything for them. All volunteer commitments, all social life, I have learned, are lower in priority than spending time with the family, as many of us will do this week. Yet by our actions and the time we have remaining in our lives, we're helping to shape the world in which our descendants will live. It is an understatement to say I'm not happy about the way the country has just gone. I don't want to tell anyone else how to live their lives. But I will keep my grandson Jack in mind in the days and weeks ahead. He's not talking yet, but I'm imagining a conversation with him in 5 or 10 years, where he asks me, "Granddad, what did you do in the face of the great darkness of 2016? What did you do?" I don't want the answer to be nothing. Come ye thankful, people, come. At this time of year, we are urged to count our blessings. Does blessing include injury? Susan Hall in today's reading says, yes, Thanksgiving is not about being glad for the good things that have happened to us. They're simply moments in the sun. Thanksgiving is standing still with an injured and an open heart and letting the river run freely through us. Now, in closing, some of you may notice that I've used two conflicting images here. I urge resistance as the highest form of love, and I urge us to let the river flow through us, even as it injures. There will be room for both in the times ahead. The river will flow and threaten to sweep us away at times, and we, by our actions, may be able to impede that flow or redirect. Let us be thankful for that which injures us. Let us hold in our hearts love for those whose views and votes are different from ours, even as we oppose their actions. Let us never forget